So my name is Semanda Hamiisi. I'm a farmer in Kayunga district, Garila sub-county, Kasokwe parish and Banda village.
What made you start a goat farming business?
What made me start a goat farming business? It was an inspiration actually. That's what I can say. It was an inspiration from where I was working from. I was working in Sembegia Estates as the in charge of breeding and assistant manager of the project. So we used to deal with goat farming, helping farmers how to manage, how to treat, how to progress with goat farming and showing them the business behind goat farming. So actually those people, they performed really very well, and we used to do what they call evaluation at the end of 2 years. But into that evaluation, that's where I got my inspiration, because the farmers that we used to give over 50 goats, you find them in 2 years telling you that we are now in 400 goats. And then because we used to ask them, what have you done with the money, or how much money have you gotten? Somebody tells you, I've sold over 300 goats, 400 goats at 200,000. Adding it up, it could show us that a farmer can own at least over 80 to 100 millions just within a period of 2 years. So that's what made me inspired. And then I also said, let me also go into this business, being that I have the knowledge and skills on how I can manage the project. So I saw it as a vision, and I decided to also buy land and start goat farming.
What must I put into consideration before starting a goat project?
So anybody watching me or watching this program, this is what I can tell you if you really feel that you want to do goat farming as a business. Because it's a two-way thing. You might be wanting to do it as, like leisure, because most of you guys have money, and you only feel like you want to see the animals. But basically, as a business, this is what I can tell you that you really need to have. One, you need to have land. But that land, the size of the land determines the number of animals. And that also determines the system of farming that you really need to do. Because the smaller the land, it is pushing you to the smaller number of animals, or else to advance into another system of doing zero grazing. And zero grazing is consisting of pasture management. Then after the pasture management, you also have to look at how you can confine your animals in the zero grazing system. So basically, what I can tell you as a farmer, if you're looking at what they call farming, look at the land first, look at the water, because you can't have water without land. So you need to have land, you need to have water, you need to have good genetics, you need to have pastures. Those are things that a farmer would look at before he even thinks about investing in goat farming. So basically, those few things, have them in mind, because that's what will determine the amount of the animals that you're going to start with.
Is goat farming a good investment?
Yeah, for real, I've said this many times on my YouTube channel that you guys, farming of goats, it's a business that can help us with the poor Hamiisis, and it's a business that can even push the rich. You who are seeing me who are rich, it is another business that can push you to another level. Why? Because it multiplies fast, and it has a lot of market. Because me, when I look at the market of goat farming, is really so big that I cannot even manage. So if I see people going into goat farming, you're on the right track, because it's a business that has all the options. One, it has plan A and B, even C. What am I trying to mean by those plans? If I do goat farming and I'm successful and I have a lot of animals, I can't fail to sell. Even if a disease can't come and clear everything. And in that very business, you cannot say that I'm relying on Hamiisi, because Hamiisi is doing goat farming. So if Hamiisi dies, what do you do? So you don't need me. I don't need you to sell my animals. I only need people who are eating. You get it? If people are eating the goats, that means you are having money. So those are the options that I'm talking about. And we are also looking at which markets are available. Like for me, I looked at breeding as one of my markets. I looked at roasting as my other market, and also looked at slaughter and packaging as another market. Then finally, think about of export. Those are the markets that I looked at. So, if you ask me that is goat farming a business, is it a business that I would recommend someone to go into? Of course, I say yes. Why? Because it has made me what I am. I'm not very happy, but at least I'm okay with what I'm doing, and I'm very comfortable with doing goat farming. And I'm known just because of goat farming. So I can say your question that goat farming is a real business that everybody would go into.
How do you raise goats in the simplest and easiest way?
You have seen my houses. My houses are too simple. And I'm so proud to say that I'm among the farmers who have the cheapest houses. But as well, I'm again proud to tell you that I'm among the farmers who really have some of the most expensive animals. Because I have goats that range from 500,000 to even 3 millions, even some are 7 millions. So I'm really proud to be this. So you've seen my houses, and the basic of goat farming is the housing, because most of you people love the project more than what you expect. Because if you think about of goats, you want to do a house which even looks like for human being. These are animals. They need basic houses, like, have the chain link on it, have the shelter when it rains, they go into it. Then also think about of the very good ventilation. Actually, that's what I can say. So basically that.
What is the cost of starting a modern goat farming house?
Yeah, that's it's not an easy question. First of all, because this determines on your financial muscle. What do you have to invest? Just understand one thing or two things, that the smaller the money you use to start a goat farming, the time you take to benefit. Because for us as farmers, we are looking at hundreds. That's when you can benefit more. Because a worker that takes care of 100 goats is the same worker that takes uh, care of 10 goats. The vaccine that vaccinates 100 goats is the same vaccine that will go on to 10. Because the moment you open the vaccine, it's in 100 doses. So that means you can either use it for the 100 animals, or if you use for 10, the rest is going to be discard. So basically, that's what I can give you. That the best, I can tell you a very good answer, that you need to start with this number. That will depend on your financial muscle. What do you have to start with? Because it's a very polite project. If you have smaller money, you can do it. If you have bigger money, you can do it. So me, who started with a smaller money, I can have at least an average money. If I start with a big money, that means I'm going to have bigger outputs. Because when I start with 100, that's around 50 millions. And if you include everything, let's say a house, let's say the stock, the workers, basically, if you want to start very well and run for the first 6 months, have like maybe 70 or 80 millions there. But if you're starting with 10, still the beginning will be polite, but finally you reach where you want. So basically, I can't give you a specific amount of money. It's like telling you that, my brother, how many kids do I need to have so that I can have a family? It just depends on you, on how you want it. You get it?
Yes, yes.
So basically, it's very hard, but maybe we would ask what would be the ideal number of animals to start with. Me, I would say at least start with 10. Because 10 goats in the period of 2 years, you'll probably have over 80 goats to 100. So basically, if you start less than 10, it's not viable, even because monitoring even those animals will be very hard. You will find it that you're not breaking even. just because the number of animals is too low, and the expenditure will be too much because you have to inspect, you have to make calls. You find that every week or every month you're consuming one goat off. So what do? At least have 10 and above. 10, 20 and 100.
How many breeds of goats do we have?
No, actually at my farm, I'm dealing with basically meat goats, because I don't want those confusions like in dairy goats. If you do dairy goats, like the way you have traveled, the distance you have traveled up to here, you know what it means. Let's say if I have 100 goats and those 100 goats are giving me 20 liters of milk, and I have to drive all the way from Kampala to come and pick the 20 liters per day. How much fuel do I use? How much risks do I have? You know, so that becomes not a viable project. But, and also investing in the machineries that can preserve, harvest the milk, preserve, and take it to where the market is. Because now in our area here, you can't find somebody interested in taking goat's milk. It's only those elite, those people that have learned a lot about the quality and, you know, the nutritional value of that milk would look for it. But in our village here, people think about of cows, and they think cow's milk is the best. So I will find another problem doing goat farming, and, you know, I have to take it to Kampala,
Yes.
which is too expensive. That means I have to have many animals, and I can harvest over 1,000 liters. That means if you are harvesting over 1,000 liters, because a goat can give you like maybe 2-3 liters in a day. That is morning and evening. So it will be very hectic. So me, basically, what I do, I deal with meat goats. That's what I decided to do, because I do my evaluation after 6 months. I can know that I have 1,000 goats. If they produce another 1,000 in 6 months, that means by the time they produce for the second time, I can have 1,000 animals to sell. And I don't need to carry it to Kampala. It is the buyer to come out to my farm, tell me how many he wants, then he pays me my money and goes with my animals. Sorry, his animals, because he should have paid for them. So that means I do the meat breeds. And what are those meat breeds? I'm talking about the savannas, like the ones you see which are white, full body white. I have boas, which are brown head and white body. I also have Kalahari, which are totally brown. So far, those are the breeds that I have. But I have some few locals, like maybe 30 or 100. And I don't consider them to be part of my main project. I only keep them to show people that this is where they call a local goat, local mubende, small East African, Chigezi. So those are also breeds, but me, I basically deal with the three: Boa, Kalahari, and Savannah. Now, me, as me Hamiisi, I recommend all of them, but that will also depend on your financial muscle. Because when I look at all these animals, you see some animals weighing 120 kgs, that's a male, live weight. And when you look at the boa, also a boa can weigh 120 kgs live weight. When you look at a Kalahari, can as well do the same. So basically, the South African people are very good in doing genetics. And now they have made their muscles, and they are now following their line and say, we are building up this color and give it a name. But in the performance, growth rate is the same, maturity weight is the same, the carcass is the same. So even the meat itself, the quality of the carcass or the quality of the meat is still the same. So these people are doing their genetics, and they are changing the colors, and we are giving them money. Now I have seen they have made another black goat, completely black, but having floppy ears, the same mass, and so on. So basically, me, I would recommend the three that I've tested. They get acclimatized to environment. They are really very good animals. So far, not bad with me.
What is the concept of goat farming in Uganda?
The concept, actually, years back, people have been trying to do goat farming here. But they had a lot of challenges, and they didn't have people to help them. That's why when I opened up my YouTube channel, I decided to give them free information, and then allowing them to visit my farm and learn for free. Me, I'm not looking at you paying me the 20,000, then you go and start.
They are learning for free.
They are learning for free. Every Sunday, someone comes, learn what I do. And I believe in teaching you practically what I'm doing. Because if I go back in the book and I teach you about goats, still many books are there, but they have not created impact. But allowing them to come, meet me as a person, show them what I do, how do I do it, which breeds, doesn't make me charge them, because I want them more on board. So if I teach you how to do goat farming and I charge you, you pay me your 20,000. That means you're also going to do a school. Then you charge other people to come and learn. And that is going to stop our speed on goat farming. But since I opened up a YouTube channel, giving you free information, allowing you to come to my farm for free, we have really increased the number of animals, and people have now started really serious goat farming, and they are really dealing with the right breed. So basically, they are doing the 3 breeds that I really promote. So the conception, people are now digesting goat farming like nothing. You cannot talk about 10 to 20 projects in Uganda and you don't mention about goat farming. It is that way because I became a pioneer giving information and let people don't lose their animals just because of the petty diseases that attacks us.